Hi, I'm Keith.
And I'm Georgia.
And we're living a dream. Okay, so we're leaving Cheyenne Mountain State Park near Colorado Springs. This is by far one of my favorite campgrounds. It might be my favorite all-time campground. It's so well kept. They have a nice laundry room, shower house. The sites are immaculate. Concrete pad, full hookups, beautiful views off both sides. You get the city 500 feet below you off of one side, and you got the mountain that's about 3,000 feet above you, behind you, Cheyenne Mountain. So beautiful views. It was about I think it was $41 a night, but you also have to pay $9 per day usage fee, which puts it up at $50 a night, which puts it right up there with a lot of RV parks. But when you're in Colorado Springs, this area is a little more expensive, and so it actually is a pretty good deal for this area. There's other areas we stay for 15 or 20 bucks a night, 25 with electric and water and everything, but I think that this was a good value for the money. I would stay here for 2 weeks. There's so much to do in Colorado Springs, and I think Colorado Springs probably ties my favorite, which is Rapid City, for places to go with the RV. So we're on our way now out to Kansas, to a little place called Scott Lake State Park. We should have a pretty nice little campsite there, and that's about 260 miles, and we should get in probably around 2:30, I'm gonna say. So that's a good time to get in. We'll be seeing Monument Rocks while we're there, which is really one of the few landmarks in Kansas. There aren't a lot of places where big rocks stick out of the ground, but that's one of them, and we're right near it. So we'll check it out. Right across the street from our campground was Fort Carson Mountain Post. Sometimes at night we could hear some live fire artillery out there, but not much, and not late at night. Usually like 6, 7, 8, something like that. We've only gone about 40 miles from Colorado Springs, but you can definitely see the terrain has changed immensely here. It's all grassland, plains, cattle farm. The mountains are a distant memory. You can't even see them in the mirror anymore back there. Temperature's only 40 degrees outside. Hasn't warmed up at all yet. Waiting for that sun to come out. So we're still 173 miles from Lake Scott State Park in Kansas. Got sorghum fields on both sides of us here. Kansas.
Welcome to Kansas.
Thank you. Another cell tower right up there by us. All right, coming down into Scott Lake, or the Lake Scott State Park in Kansas. Oh wow, isn't this pretty? Who would have suspected this in the middle of all these planes we've been driving across? Lake Scott is around 100 acres, and the state park itself is just over 1,000 acres. It was a very peaceful place to camp. Our first morning here, we're only going to stay 2 nights here. We're going to head over to Monument Rocks. It's a nice clear day. It's supposed to warm up to 60 or so later. So, all right, so we're heading out to Monument Rocks. It's all gravel road. We're going to be 7 miles off of the paved road when we get there. Got a cow grate here. You can see Monument Rocks straight ahead of us. Looks like the road splits them. They're asking you to respect them. Not be climbing up on the rocks or doing stupid things. Monument Rocks is actually on private property. The owners of the property are nice enough to recognize the importance of allowing people to see these and don't fence it in or post it. Oh, you can drive around it.
Yeah, drive all the way around it. It tells you about it on this sign.
These are actually chalk formations formed 80 million years ago. They were at one time under the sea. Okay, we're going to stop over at the Little Jerusalem Badlands State Park. It's 5 miles of gravel road. Required.
Destination is on the left. We have a permit, don't we, or not?
Not for a state park like this, no. The park has several nice hiking trails on almost 400 acres and all at a $5 vehicle use fee. Okay, we are going to Battle of Punished Women's Fork, also called Battle Canyon. It's the site of the last battle between the American Indians and the U.S. Army in the state of Kansas. In September of 1878, 353 Cheyenne, including women and children, fought U.S. Army soldiers, killing the commander. All right, we're going into Scott City, and Georgia's got a hankering for some Mexican, so we're going to try a little place that does homemade tamales, because we both like tamales. It is definitely a farm town. All right, this must be the spot. I'm going to park right here. La Fiesta Mexican Restaurant in Scott City was an excellent choice. Something you don't see in the eastern part of the United States is oil drilling rigs, and these are scattered all across the plain states. Kansas, as well as Nebraska and Colorado, are huge producers of beef, and you can see by some of the stockyards here where they fatten up the cattle that it's done on a massive scale. Another thing that we saw a lot of was the transporting of windmill blades. These 125-foot long blades require multiple vehicles to guide them through towns and across their journey. All right, we're at the Boot Hill Casino and Resort, and we're just going to stop here for an hour or two, tops, and then go into Dodge City. Just got finished up at the Boot Hill Casino, where we didn't win anything, but we got a free lunch off of them and didn't really spend much, so that worked out nice. We're coming into Dodge City, like the Dodge City in Gunsmoke. It's the old Santa Fe train station. Dodge City started up around 1872, about the same time the Santa Fe Railroad came through. Millions of head of beef cattle came through Dodge City, as well as tons of buffalo hides. It was a town of gunslingers, brothels, and saloons. It soon became known as the wickedest city in the West. Georgia and I are glad we got to spend a couple days in Kansas, and we're glad you got to come along. I hope you'll join us next episode when we head off to Oklahoma.